G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is a Bloodied Tesla rifle with 10% more damage whilst aiming and +1 perception, major and minor legendary effects respectively. So anyways, Tesla rifles, they've been a lot of fun in Nuclear Winter, and I'm glad to have one of these things in the Bloodied variety to test against the AI plebs. So the lineup of legendary effects is pretty good. Honestly, the perception I could do without if it was weightless or faster reload. I think that would be the best, but you know, 10% while aiming, that's a very, very strong legit, actually, not explosive, legit sort of Tesla rifle, which is nice. So 63 damage, like we got before, one testing or just unperked with other Tesla rifles, obviously. So let's chuck on some of these perks. Now I'm going to be using Commando because I've got it with an auto barrel, as you probably saw before. We're going to have Tank Killer and also Ground Pounder. We're not going to use the Concentrated Fire because probably don't have to use VATS with this thing. There's a lot of damage to be had with this thing, and you know, using it in VATS is kind of moot anyway because you don't actually really need to aim with this thing, as I've seen in Nuclear Winter. Anyway, so chucking Bloody Mess on. Other amendments to the build is also Evasive. I usually have a rank of gun fill on, and also 2 ranks of the suppressor perk, what's it called? Mr. Sandman, but obviously it doesn't have a suppressor, and Gunfu is still currently broken. So we've just chucked on more evasive, which is going to help us out when we get into very low health anyway. So we get 116 damage out of this, which is pretty damn solid, compared to a powerful auto handmade rifle. We're actually out damaging it, although we don't have the range. But the rate of fire is huge, and obviously it's got more range on this, despite, you know, not being able to throw the electricity too far. But you know that we're not going to see any problems with the range because it's just not going to, you know, throw the projectiles that far. So you know, that could be anything, to be honest. All right. Also, the accuracy is 76 too. Okay, let's get ratted up. Alrighty, so note that health bar once again, just under Blood Rage. That's like Bloodied and Nerd Rage threshold. Blood Rage, that sounds cool, right? Although I think the name has been taken by crabs. So 359 damage with this when compared to Handmade doing 285. So definitely showing that it's going to do a lot of damage off the bat, which is nice. Alrighty, looks like we've got some muties over there that need cutting down. So here's our buffs. We've got full unyielding, which I'm pretty sure I've done before, but yes, Stealth Commando with unyielding is insane. Here are my buffs with that. Special stats just for that. Oh, 12 strength. She's the strongest she's ever been. Too bad. Oh, that endurance is up too. I think that's because of my Brotherhood Under Armor. Alright, let's see how we do, eh? Yep. It's pretty damn devastating. So you don't have to aim with this. Looks like I have to aim I have to try a little bit harder to aim than if I'm playing Nuclear Winter. And it looks like if we get direct hits, it's actually doing less damage. So literally never do anything but shoot at the ground and just let it arc at things. Okay, cool. Absolutely no trouble with these guys. There's Serendipity popping. I've got that equipped just so if we get shot by something that'll one-shot us at this point, it won't kill us. Okay, so that's the first slot taken out again. Damage plus 60% thanks to Adrenaline. 490. Now we could push that a little bit further if we had like 5% health left, but 490 is good enough, I think. Alrighty, time to test this thing a little bit at range. Okay, looks like we're on the very edge of this thing's range over here. That guy's got a minigun, I don't want that. But it looks like it can extend out further than that if you manage to get it arced at something, which is nice. Now, question is, what is our limitations on what can or cannot be arced on? And it looks like that anything above you, like, yeah, having like a 90-degree thing above them is just a way for them to resist it. So, you know, if you want to counter this thing in Nuclear Winter, just literally go back on a cliff and make sure not next to anything that they could arc it off. Also, I haven't been aiming this, have I? I haven't been aiming this at all. I don't need to aim it because, you know, the reflex side is a little bit much, but I'm going to aim it in here just to see what kind of damage we can pull out of it. Like, honestly, when would you need this sort of zoom in on a Tesla rifle? Maybe if you were doing something like that and you really wanted to get a precise shot, but I've got Ground Pounder on, right? Which means my hipfire is good enough to warrant not ever aiming down sight. So I guess if we're facing something real tanky, man, that got us good. Yeah, if we're facing something super real tanky with lots of health, like, I don't know, a Scorched Beast Queen or something, and then that is a good way to, you know, deal with that. But as you can tell, against random mobs, in this case, idiot super mutants, we're doing just fine. I've got no clue what these muties are shooting at. At least we get to examine the floor textures when we aim down sights like this. I really like how the floating damage allows us to see us ping it around corners, because I would have no clue, like, okay, except for the hit marker obviously, but seeing what kind of damage we do. So it looks like it's about 209, that would be full adrenaline. So if we hit fire this against some other dudes, an extra 9 damage. You know, 9 damage is 9 damage. Unless you're German, then it actually means nothing. Ha! Okay, that one was actually a headshot. Question is, can we actually make good use out of headshots, or is literally hitting the ground before them easier to kill them with? Can't really tell. Alright, headshots now. It's a little bit weird. These projectiles are kind of they're kind of like lasers, but it's really strange. They actually did the cool effect. I can't replicate it. See, when I wanted to make a plasma coil work like it did back in Ratchet and Clank 2 with this game, I thought, beauty, I would just make the explosive or the projectiles, you know, shoot these Tesla laser beams out when it explodes, but I can't do that. It actually has to be the Tesla rifle. So it kind of duplicates the beam of it, but just locks onto enemies. I wonder how they did it. I don't even know. Let's stop speculating over that and speculate over how much damage I can get for goddamn headshots. Which I still haven't achieved, by the way. See, it has an adverse effect on my aim. There we go, 566. Yeah, that was pretty good. So I guess if you really want to crush them down with a lot of damage, you can aim at them, which honestly I wouldn't recommend doing. You get a lot more field of view, you get more movement speed when you hip fire, and honestly aiming is for chumps. We're above aiming right now, which is good news because I can't aim anyway. Any shots that I miss with this gun that I'm not sort of probing with just to see what it can work is just a... Nah, you can't have that. If you miss any shots with this, you're a big old scrub, and you know it. And I know it. So be sure to call me out in the comments if I happen to miss any shots. But the stuff that I do miss is obviously made up for quite a lot, in fact, by the shots that I managed to get on 2 or 3 dudes. Unfortunately, I've left this place full of ash piles, which means the next person who comes through here isn't going to get these spawns, but fuck it, I don't really give a shit. This is a good weapon. Let me enjoy this. Also, the blue dress, it interacts with the glow of the Tesla rifle, you see. It's all very matching and nice. Alright, this time we're doing this true to our commando form as we possibly can. What does that mean? Oh, you can't wake up sleeping ghouls. I'm just going to charge in like Mad Rambo Winter, and we'll see if we can't come out on top of this. Okay, apparently these guys are a little bit more grounded. Oh, I'm glad I killed that Radroach. That Radroach would have ended me real quick. Interesting. You'd think maybe it's because the super mutants were wearing bits of metal as like makeshift armor, made them more conductive or something like that. I don't really know, but a couple legendaries so far, and they might have just killed the Scorched Beast Queen. I'm sure some of you are so disappointed that I didn't get to test it off on that, but too bad. I've drawn the line, damn it. I'm not doing that shit again. Don't like that event at all. Like, I'll do it on a stream or something to piss around with, but not during a weapon video. Although we do get the damage numbers now, so we can actually see how much damage we're actually doing to the Queen. But again, it kind of goes both ways. We can see how much damage I'm doing against these dumb ghouls here, and we'd be doing less damage against the Queen because she's got a bigger health pool. Also, is double XP on? I reckon it might be on, because I'm getting a whole lot more XP than usual. We're done here. Oh yeah, we're so totally done. That was a breeze. I mean, we got hit a few times because I got sloppy, but not like this weapon is going to have a problem, you know, getting us out of situations where there's like a bunch of ghouls around us. Okay, here's something that's really bizarre. So I rocked up to this place just to script all my legendaries and to get rich with caps, and apparently there's just a shitload of bottle cap mines around. Like, I literally picked up 42 of these, and also they dropped the furry heads. Where are they? The Easter Bunny mascots. So, and they've got an atom symbol there, and they were actually dropped as like world items, not in a baggie or anything. So something sus is going on here. Now, I'm not pointing any fingers, but they were centered around this dude's camp. Level 317. Eyes emoji. Look, here's some more scattered over here. I mean, I'm going to take them and I'm going to sell them, but something's really sus about this person. Alright, Mr. Swan, you're sitting in a bunch of water. It should mean that my Tesla rifle is going to do a whole lot of damage against you. And just so we aren't pulling any punches, I'm throwing on Tenderizer just to see how we do. And apparently going for headshots, as we saw against those mutants earlier, was a good idea. So we'll aim down sights for that 10% damage. Almost one-magged him with some sneak attack criticals there, which was pretty good. If it had been at night, I think we could have gone a lot better. But regardless of that, one of the main criticisms, or one of the main things that the Tesla rifle was not good at, was just taking on bosses like this dude, or mini-bosses, I suppose. And basically the Bloodied effect with adrenal reaction and everything has kind of alleviated that. So this is kind of the perfect Tesla rifle right here. You could probably get away with an explosive one, but honestly, there's no arcing to it, so it's not going to be as appealing in crowd control situations, because you still have to aim a little bit. Those explosions will throw out damage only a little bit, but you kind of have to be a little bit on target to use it. But the one with no explosive projectiles, using the actual Tesla rifle projectiles, so much better. Now, here's two things I'm thinking here. One, that crabs are sort of wet on the outside because they live around water, which means they'll be super conductive, right? Especially this one who's sitting literally in the water. Oh, that's a Tesla rifle right there. That's a good one. I think that's my second quad Tesla rifle. Hit me up if you want a quad Tesla, which, mind you, is very good. We'll get to that one a little bit soon, but let's just slow things down here and kill two. Oh, it's done the bug. We've got the bug. Okay, so there's a bug in this game that exists with Tesla rifles, and they haven't patched it out. Basically, you'll stop doing damage. As you can tell right here, I'm meant to be doing damage, but I'm not. I'm just not. Fortunately, we got ourselves a quad Tesla rifle out of this, so we'll give him another whirl, but that bug is very annoying. Fun fact, it actually happened once when I was trying to fight the Robo Furry for the first time, so I got kind of mad at that. What are you looking at? That's right, get out of here, mate. Alrighty, before we take on those crabs again, because this server doesn't have any, it's time for the train yard smash, which looks like we've drawn ghoulies again, which, luckily for us, that have got no projectiles on them. So, when you switch a server, you'll be rid of this horrible bug that makes the Tesla rifle useless, and any other weapon, by the way. I was using a Bloodied handmade rifle when I tried to kill the sheep squatch, the robot furry, and it didn't even work. So it extends to every one of your weapons, I think, that are of the range variety. I think it can still get away with using melee weapons, which is kind of good, but then the melee weapons aren't worth crap on this character, I'll tell you that much. Alright, so pretty cruisy run through here so far. We've got more ghouls in here. Make sure we don't hit these bastard things this time. Yep, here they come. Question is, do they get hurt by it? They do, and they also get staggered by it. Okay, so if you... Okay, listen up, parasites that are watching. If you decide to put your camp right outside of the golf course, what you want to do is put those punji boards down, because it literally stops ghouls in their tracks. There you go. Now you can get free level ups. Alrighty, and on that revelation, we'll go somewhere else. Alrighty, so here we are outside of the place where we can spawn another Mirelurk Queen if the first spot fails us. Wow, more ghouls, huh? This is like a Frost playthrough, I'll tell you that much. Hang on, there's a robot over there. Alright, so this thing should be especially effective against robots, right? Because it'll overload their circuitry or something like that. Yeah, let's say that. Also, I hope I'm making good use out of Tenderizer here. Those follow-up shots doing 7% more damage. That's just making all the difference in the world, isn't it? Alrighty, let's see if we can't summon the queen by shooting. Nope. A plasma grenade usually gets her going. There we go. Let's get some attacks into her, I guess. Oh, sneak attack criticals. She's hucking loogies. Back off. Alright, we're in danger, we're in danger. Just shoot at the ground. You can shoot at the ground and the things will happen behind him. There we go. Absolutely no problem at all. She was attacking us for a moment, but, you know, after we, decided to sort her out with our bloodied Tesla, I think we did pretty well. So, yep, there's it against the thing of the crab variety monster. We'll take on a bat. Alrighty, looks like we've drawn a Scorch Beast. Now, well, I could probably chuck on Enforcer and grab a shotgun. I don't have any of these on my winter right now. Get it? And the Scorch Beast kind of is sitting there, like stuck in the ground. So yeah, I'm going to take advantage of this. I've also noticed two blokes close to each other, or three of them close to each other. So what I might do is quickly kill these guys. We've got that extra 20%. And then we'll immediately turn the Tesla rifle on the Scorch Beast, which will allow us to get a quick, easy hit on them. Ooh, weird. Okay, that extra 30% damage, 40% damage from that aiming down sights is good. And that should give us 60 now. Great crowd control weapon. Have I said that yet? Have you noticed it? Alright, we're a little bit out of range still. We might... Ooh, okay, there's where the range ends. You can still target it in VATS, though, which is odd. Get a little bit closer, marsupial jump, bounce it off some rocks. Now, we just have to get you nice and close. Are you going to drop? Wow, that's a really poor decision. Someone hasn't been doing their research on how to counter Tesla rifles. Oh, you're about to scream, but then you got a mouthful of rock. Well, that's your own fault. Oh, yeah, that XP probably means that double XP is on, I think. Anyways, so I think you get the point of this weapon. It's a very powerful weapon. Like I said before, probably the best that the Tesla rifle has to offer. You know, if it didn't have that one perception, I would have preferred the extra reload speed, or maybe the weightless legendary effect. That would be great. But you know what? I'm happy with those two first legendary effects. That they seem to fit this weapon very well. Also, fire rate. Fire rate would be great. But as in terms of, just supreme damage per shot, getting a pretty good amount of this. Obviously, there's like the rifle and the charging shotgun barrel, which you could do more damage per shot, but I'm thinking more on the DPS side of aiming down sights with the automatic Tesla rifle. So, I don't know. Tell me I'm a fucking idiot if this isn't the best, and then I'll get mad at you, and then that'll probably be the end of it. So, thank you very much for watching, guys. Hit me up if you want that quad Tesla.